Hey there, and welcome to the weekly Asylum and Immigration Reform Recap, where I share with you 5 stories of interest for asylum seekers and those who want to stay updated on immigration news. This week, we're discussing
deportation flights to Venezuela are resuming in a bid to deter increasing migrant arrivals. Texas Republicans are divided over a housing development popular with immigrants. A study shows immigrants have won an outsized share of Nobel Prizes in key scientific fields. A new policy limits use of Interpol Red Notices to detain immigrants, aiming to prevent abuses, and U.S. citizens are increasingly involved in human smuggling into the United States.
I'm Brian Manning, and I used to be an asylum officer with the government, but now, as an asylum lawyer, well, I help immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. All right, let's get to the news. First,
in a stunning reversal, the United States is restarting deportation flights to Venezuela, even as thousands are still fleeing the repressive country. The Biden administration aims to discourage more migration by imposing consequences on border crossers. This comes amid record levels of Venezuelans arriving, 400,000 so far this year, braving jungle treks to get to the southern border. Apprehensions at the U.S.-Mexico border recently rebounded after declining for months. The White House granted work permits to Venezuelans already here, but stresses that no such benefits will follow for new arrivals. Now, repatriation planes will fly migrants back immediately. Officials won't disclose the numbers of those expected to be deported or other details of the deportation program. The Biden administration insists getting tough is needed, combined with legal pathways to migration to the United States, to address the spiraling border crisis. Still, humanitarian groups argue returning migrants to danger violates America's ideals.
And up next for update number 2.
Controversy around a new housing development near Houston is causing division in the Republican Party in Texas. Colony Ridge has attracted over 40,000 residents in just a decade by offering cheap land and easy financing to undocumented immigrants. But state leaders are alarmed by the rapid growth, with Governor Abbott calling for hearings after concluding that the community could reach 100,000 people soon. Critics say the development is a magnet for illegal immigration, but its success also highlights tensions within the Republican Party between pro-business and anti-immigration factions. With a donor to Abbott behind Colony Ridge, the governor now finds himself in an awkward position. The development exemplifies Texas's embrace of developer-friendly growth and cheap housing amid a national crisis, thanks in part to financing that helps undocumented immigrants buy homes. The boomtown results from a distinctly Texan culture that allows major political donors, like the owner of Colony Ridge, to enable rapid development with few restrictions. Under Texas law, there is little counties can do to slow development.
All right, it's time for our third immigration update.
A compelling new study illuminates how immigration has profoundly enriched America's scientific leadership. Immigrants have won an astonishing 40% of the Nobel Prizes in chemistry, medicine, and physics claimed by Americans so far this century. Just this year, 4 out of 6 American Nobel Science laureates were immigrants. Tracing 115 years of Nobel Prizes, the research shows a dramatic increase in immigrant winners from only 22 before 1960 to 93 after, as laws opened America's doors wider to global talent. While spotlighting the brilliance of individuals, the findings reflect America reaping big rewards from welcoming the world's most ambitious dreamers and doers. From nanotech to new vaccines, immigrants now power cutting-edge advances in every scientific field, paving the way toward future innovation and progress that lifts all Americans.
By the way, if you want to stay updated on asylum and immigration reform news, then make sure to press the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you don't miss the next video. Okay, moving on, we're ready for update number 4.
A new immigration policy aims to restrict abuse of Interpol Red Notices for immigrants in the United States. Interpol Red Notices are requests for the arrest for extradition of a person based on charges abroad. The problem is that corrupt regimes often issue false notices targeting political dissidents. Now, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, known as ICE, is going to limit reliance on these notices to detain non-citizens or remove immigrants. New safeguards in place require verifying validity, reviewing for abuse indications, obtaining supervisor approval, and providing documentation before ICE will rely on a red notice. Additionally, non-citizens get a chance to contest notices used against them. While the new policy is a positive step when it comes to ICE, similar constraints are needed at U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, the agency that handles immigration benefits. There, notices block green cards and naturalization wrongly by assuming guilt.
And finally, our 5th immigration update for this week.
A report reveals that American citizens now play a central role in human smuggling across the Mexico border, even as immigrants, and especially drug cartels, take most of the blame. Recruitment of U.S. drivers has skyrocketed, with smugglers enticed by huge profits. Americans easily evade checkpoints, transporting migrants in vehicles after initial border crossings. Apprehensions of American smugglers jumped over 80% in recent years. The shift came after September 11th, when U.S. border controls tightened and then accelerated during the pandemic as smugglers offered easy income. Migrants pay up to $10,000 each to be transported, far more than the going rate for smuggling drugs. Indeed, smugglers say moving people is now more lucrative than moving cocaine. With migration at record highs, the illicit pipeline relies ever more on U.S. citizens.
And that concludes this week's immigration news. If you want to win asylum in the United States, then you should call my office today. We help people all over the country, so it doesn't matter where you are. Call us now to schedule an Asylum Strategy Session so that we can assist you in securing your future in America through asylum. Again, I'm Brian Manning, and it's an honor to serve you in your immigration journey.